Guess we're live now. Oh boy. It's been quite a while since I've last streamed. I guess there's a good reason for that. I was on vacation for a week and change in France, which was great. It's the first vacation I've taken in a really, really long time. I think since, like, at least the first significant vacation since, like, 2015. Maybe 2016. I don't know. It's been a while, but took a vacation. Unfortunately, the way it lined up, I missed 2 weekend streams, so that was a little bit unfortunate, but I guess. I didn't work on too much code stuff while I was on vacation because I was trying to not spend so much time on the computer. But of course, I was very unsuccessful at that, so I did manage to write up some things. We'll go over those in a bit. Did I say the date? Probably not. But it's Tuesday, which is a different stream day than usual. It's Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, and yeah. If you haven't noticed, I'm slightly sick, which just seems to happen to me whenever I travel, so it's just a thing. It kind of makes sense. You're bottled up in a tiny tin can for many hours in a row with with little air pressure, so you're kind of just exchanging the same air with germs and a bunch of other people around you, and it just happens. Hey, what's up, Toddy? How's it going? So if I cough and if I sound congested, that's why. Also, my dad was sick on vacation, which was not great either. Who knows where it came from, but either the millions of people sneezing, I guess not millions, the tens of people sneezing on me on the airplane, or spending a week with my dad who is sick. One way or another, I'm not 100% right now. I'm a little nasally, then that explains why. But yeah, I did actually get to work on some stuff that I thought was kind of cool, and I'll share that with you now. I get to actually scroll pretty far down. I think this is new. What did I work on last time? I don't even remember. What did I work on last time? I guess I can look on YouTube. I think I worked on Flake 8 stuff? Yeah. I worked on MyPy typing, that's what it was. Hey, what's up, Anime Lover Zero? Haven't seen you in a while. Of course, I haven't streamed in a while, so that could be it too. Hope your Tuesday is going well. Let's see, so between last time and now, question. Do you believe in weed out courses, or do you think people get themselves weeded out? Ooh. That's a spicy way to put it. I think there's certainly courses that are intended to set a minimum bar for a major or whatever that are necessarily difficult. I don't know that, or I don't know. I don't think I considered many of the courses I took weed out courses. They were certainly hey, you need to understand that this is the minimum to get into this. But at Michigan, one of the courses that was widely referred to as a weed-out course was organic chemistry. Chemistry, I think Chem 210, I think the course was. And everyone was like, oh yeah, that's the biggest weed-out course ever. That's where most of the pre-med majors decide that they're gonna drop the program and switch to a squishier science or something like that. And a lot of people did not do well in that class. Chem 210 was... I mean, I thought it was easy, but I also had organic chemistry in high school, so I had an unfair advantage. But a lot of people struggled pretty hard with that class, and fair, I guess. But at the same time, if you didn't do well in that class, you were not going to do well in anything else in biochemistry or in chemistry. You kind of needed to do well in 210 to continue onwards. It's 215 was more of the same stuff, and 230 and whatever the next one in the sequence was not any easier by any means. And of course, the lab was hard too. But I think terming it weed out course is maybe not fair, but I don't know. I don't think they're like necessarily a thing. I think people like use that as an excuse to say like, oh well, it was hard, so whatever. My discrete math exam is Friday, and I feel ready. That's good. Data structure courses seems intimidating, but a new professor is teaching it next semester, and she has not taught it before. Do you think it's a lack of interest? I definitely think that like, let's take Chem 210 for example. There were some other majors that were related to chemistry, but not necessarily like that was the core thing. And some of those majors required Chem 210 as some prerequisite or something. And I think that's a little unfair, maybe, in that like that course was like super hard and not representative of what the rest of the major would be. So like I can sympathize with people being like real sad about that, but what about data structures? I think data structures are important. I think they're things that you're going to keep using forever and ever and ever and ever. Hey, what's up, Hello Source TV? I'm back. I'm also back because I've been out for. I think I checked. Or Streamlabs says it's been 17 days since I had activity. So that sounds about right. Yeah, that's exactly right. 14, 17. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a while since I've streamed. So. If you were out at the same time I was out, then you missed nothing. I realize many people in CS do it for the money instead of the interest, so it's so easy to tell. I mean, kind of fair. I definitely did not do CS for the money, although can't complain. I did CS because I like computers, but that's just me. Well, it's not just me. A lot of people like computers. There's definitely people in the industry that you can tell like whether they like computers or not, or whether they're just it's a means to an end or like a means to make their living. Which like to each their own. Like if that's your way to be happy in life, I'm not gonna try and take that away from you. I'm not gonna try and gatekeep that because like I completely understand and sympathize with people like spending their day job paying the bills and like pursuing their hobbies in their free time, pursuing their passion in their free time. Things like, you know, like if I had maybe say like a passion for music performance or something. I loved playing the violin when I was in high school, but I think I kind of realized that doing that as a career is not so sustainable, and like if I wanted to pursue that further, like now I have a means to do that. It's not my passion though, so I'm obviously not doing that, but like if I wanted to, where did it go? I must put it in the other room, but oh yeah, that's right. My second bedroom that's empty is now a music room, which I don't think I've actually used it as a music room yet, but that's where all my instruments and stuff are. But like my point here is that some people use a programming job as a way to get enough money to enable their true passion, and I think that's really awesome. But it definitely shows. But anyway, yeah, so I did a bunch of stuff since last time. Most of this is not super interesting. Some like minor fixes to PyTest, some shit for work. There was a breakage that in Python 3.8 and in import lib metadata, which kind of broke the world because PyTest was broken, and then like pre-commit was broken due to this annoying due to this kind of annoying crash here. And this was breaking like anyone who is testing Python 3.8 using Travis CI. And easiest fix was for me to just release Buggy, which had a fix for that. But I ended up bringing pre-commit too, and like a bunch of stuff happened there, but eventually it got fixed. That was one of the things I did on my vacation. What else did I do? Documentation fixes. Oh, this one I'm super excited about. My patch is not that interesting, but the pet I'm super excited about. PEP 603, which is the second kind of iteration of this idea. Although I think this one is much more likely to succeed. Well, oh man, I hope it succeeds. This is proposing a frozen map type, so a true immutable collection, or a true immutable mapping collection from the standard library, which I think has been necessary for a long time, but there's a previous PEP. Let's see, frozen dict PEP 416. This one was rejected, but rejection noted. Rejection noted. I'm rejecting this PEP. Use of frozen dict is low. Well, I don't know. I think it would be really great if frozen dict existed. There's so many cases where I want to use it, but it was rejected before. But I think this one has some different abilities to be approved. And the first reason is that the code is already in the standard lib. It's just sneakily hidden as part of context vares, which is the like cross. You don't sound sick. I'm pretty sick. I can definitely hear it myself. And I have a cough, and I've got little cough drops here that I'll be periodically picking up and consuming. But yeah, I'm excited for this. It'll bring a true immutable map. Those look like Jolly Ranchers. They're Ricola. The it's like Swedish or something. I don't remember. Or is it Switzerland? I promise those aren't the same countries. I'm just what's the word? Swiss. Okay, Switzerland. Did I right first? No, I was wrong first. Switzerland, Sweden, what's the difference? I know they're not the same country. They're not even close to the same country. The Sweden's up here, and Switzerland is... God. What? Oh, down here, I see the name's small. I know some countries, right? But anyway, this is a frozen dictionary, but it's the idea of like how a normal Lisp-like language would implement this. So it's like kind of a fast immutable structure, in that like if you build a new frozen map from an existing frozen map with one more key, it's essentially like a tree structure that points at the original one with a new key or something like that. That's kind of how it works, but I'm excited for this. Hopefully it gets approved in 3.9, and then that'll be awesome. Is that the purple Jolly Ranchers? No. Oh, are these the purple Ricola? No, these are the original ones. They're like kind of an ugly brown color, but they're fine. But yeah, I'm excited for this. Oh, another thing that happened while I was in France, which is pretty shitty. One of the days that I planned in France was to go on a bike ride where there's this really great bike rental company in Paris. I think it's called Paris Bike Company? Bake Company. They're super awesome. Yeah. This guy's great. The guy who runs this. But anyway, this rental place was pretty awesome. And my plan was to like go on a bike ride with my dad. Our original plan was to do 70 kilometers because that's what my dad was like. I'm pretty sure I can do 70 kilometers and we'll be good. Which, we convert that to freedom units, it's like 44 miles. So we went on this bike ride and we got to, I think it was like 40 kilometers in, which was past the halfway point, and my dad was like, you know what, fuck it, let's go for 100 kilometers. I think I can do it. And I was like, cool, alright, sounds good to me. And so we went out and like got to like the halfway point for 100 kilometers, and we're like, okay, cool, we'll turn around and come back. And we came back, everything was fine, and I was feeling great, my dad was feeling great. We were like on our way to getting 100 kilometers. And at the 87 kilometer point, convert that again to freedom units. At the 87-kilometer point, we were going up a hill, and there was some construction on this hill, and I wasn't really paying attention to the terrain, although I was on a sidewalk, so like there's no terrain. But what ended up happening is I went to swerve around the construction, and my front tire caught on the curb, and I kind of like tripped and started like leaning over and falling, and my instinct was to reach out to the fence nearby to brace myself to not fall over, and the fence had some very sharp stuff on it, so I sliced open my hand. Like stitches and stuff here, and it really hurts, but you know what? It's fine. But then it was just like bleeding everywhere, and I had to go to the hospital. But good news, healthcare in France is fucking amazing. Because imagine if like same scenario, but I'm in the U.S. and like no health insurance, no nothing. I do have travel insurance, so like I'll be able to get it compensated or whatever. But imagine I'm in the U.S. No health insurance, nothing. I go to a hospital, my like hand is bleeding out. I'd first like sit in line for 2 hours, and then they needed to do an X-ray and 3 stitches is what I ended up getting. And in the US, like a hospital visit alone already puts you over the $1,000. But then you tack like an X-ray on top of that, and like you need an X-ray tech and like all the other shenanigans associated with that, and that's probably putting you over $2,000. And then stitches are considered surgery, and so that's going to put you into the surgery budget range. Probably adds another $500, $600, and like you're looking at like a $3,000 medical bill. But in France, with no insurance, no like family in France, because apparently like so France has like free healthcare for anyone who's a citizen, and apparently if you're a friend of a citizen or a family member of a citizen, you also get free healthcare, because why not? But with none of that, like absolutely nothing. Every time they're like, "Oh, do you have a health card?" I'm like, "No, I'm here visiting." They're like, "Oh, okay, but that's fine. It's okay." But after all of that, it ended up being like €105 for just a for an X-ray and 3 stitches, which is pretty cheap. Like $115 for what would have been like a $3,500 hospital bill. That was pretty awesome. Also, I got a prescription for like 3 or 4 different drugs and something, and like in the US that would have been expensive too, with no health insurance, but it was like $19. Yeah, +1 nodes get free healthcare too. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's amazing. But yeah, the French healthcare system is pretty great. Also, the wait was not so bad. Like, I guess part of it was because I was just like bleeding everywhere. But I basically got in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll have you see a nurse and then a doctor," and like, also Google Translate fucking saved my ass, because like no one at the hospital spoke English, and so I was constantly being like, "Let me type this into my phone and like hand it to you." The doctor actually spoke English, and one of the nurses did, so that part was fine. They were making fun of me though. They were like, the guy was like, "Oh, playing with knives, yeah?" I'm like, "No, I didn't cut myself with a knife." Like, it was not that. I wasn't being super dumb, I guess. But they were having a laugh at my expense. To be fair, it was. But yeah, and like they started by like cleaning up pretty quickly and getting me like a temporary situation. They were like, "Oh, you need an X-ray to make sure that you don't have like bones nicked or whatever else." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll do an X-ray." And the X-ray was super quick. The lady also didn't speak English, so I had the hardest time getting the word for X-ray because they kept telling me radio Yeah, this was the word that they kept telling me. Radiography, except with a French accent. So I like both couldn't understand it and like had no idea what it was. But this is X-ray in French, and like everyone was like, "Why do you not know this word? Like, surely it's the same word in every language because like it's not an old word, it's a new word." And I was like, "Nope, don't know what this is." I wonder if it's well because it's the same in like French, Spanish, and like probably what's the other language that I'm thinking of? German. Oh, it's the same in German too. But like, they were like, "Why do you not know this word?" I was like, "Oh, because it's X-ray in English." But yeah, that was a trip. They were really nice. Now try 1 USD to air us. Or like a billion, right? Oh, it's only 56. That's 57. That's not so bad. What's like the one super inflated currency? Is it the currency by inflation? List of countries by inflate rate. The one that's like Venezuela. 1 USD in Venezuela. What is VEF? Is that like 10,000s of? I don't know. Anyway, there's some currency that's like hilariously inflated due to shenanigans. Anime Lover says, "Do you think I should be worried about data structures? Seems like a notorious class." No, just like work hard and make it happen. I think you'll be fine. They get to laugh at your injury. They only charge $215. Yeah, that's fair. And I laughed along with him because I was like, you know what? As long as you're fixing me up, I don't even care if you're giving me shit. But all good. Hey, what's up, Juan? Long time no see. How you been? But yeah, the worst part is it hurts, and like, fortunately I don't use my pinky for that many characters on my keyboard because I cheat when I type. But like, backspace, backslash, enter, and I've learned that I apparently use right shift. I'm not a left shift kind of person, but those 4 characters get me every time. I don't use right control though, so I'm good there. When did you get back? I got back on Sunday at 8 p.m. Oh, also I was like super fucking jet lagged, which is just a mess. But yeah, I got back on Sunday evening and tried to stay up as long as I could, and made the mistake of like sitting in my chair, opened up a YouTube video and was like, "Oh, I'll just watch YouTube videos until it's like 10 p.m. and then I'll go to bed. That way I don't completely fuck my sleep schedule." And I immediately fell asleep in my chair, which is just like the worst place to sleep because it's so uncomfortable. Well, it's not uncomfortable, it's just like not a good posture. Then I woke up at 4 in the morning and I was like, "Oh, wide awake, time to do all things." But 4 o'clock is not a reasonable time to wake up at. It was not good. Celebrating NIM language 1.0. Oh, NIM finally released 1.0. 1.0 release. Huh, 23rd of September, so yesterday. That's cool. They're going with some stability here. That's kind of cool. Exceptions to the rule. We will break compatibility sometimes, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. It's good to hear that it's finally considering itself stable. Although I assume, like, well, I mean, from my use of it, it's been pretty stable so far. Where was I at? Yeah, I feel like old professors teach so long. They see everything like students cheating, not trying, blaming the professor for the bad grades. But then young professors seem energetic and love teaching, but have not seen the type of students. Yeah. They have yet to experience the horrors that are the lowest common denominator. Where did you come from? I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, which kind of a shitty state, but whatever. This is where I was born, in this city right here. And then I grew up in this city, Lake Orion, Michigan. Tiny town in Michigan, right around there. And then I moved to Oxford, which is an even smaller town, right about here. Right around here. So Lake Orion is like here, Oxford is right around here. And I lived there until I was 18-ish, and then I went to school in Ann Arbor, which is right down there. And then I moved to Berkeley, where I spent a year-ish there. And then I moved to San Francisco, right around here. Close enough. I lived there for a year, and then I've been in San Mateo. Then I lived in San Mateo for, almost 6 years now, 5 years now. Quite a while. But I do not live with my parents. My parents don't live with my parents either. But that's a story for another day. Date time to human.nim. Does not load. Do I need this? Oh, you probably have a file name. Fine. I see. Say something in French. Oh, I did learn some like fun stuff about French people. This is gonna sound like super stereotypical. I apologize to anyone who's French. But I learned some stuff about French people and like how they decide some stuff. So one thing that like really kind of annoys me, but at the same time is like super satisfying, is if you're at like a restaurant, any restaurant, and say you are 2 people at the restaurant, and there are 2-person tables and 3-person tables, they will never ever seat you at a 3-person table. They will always seat you at a 2-person table, even if the restaurant is completely fucking empty. And if you like seat yourself at a 3-person table or a 4-person table, they will come over to you and say, sorry, this table is for 4 people. You have to go to the 2-person table, even if the restaurant is empty. And I like, the part of me that is satisfied by this is because it means that like, oh, they're optimizing the packing problem. But the part of me that's like super messed up about this is like, the whole fucking restaurant's empty, dude. Like, what, do you expect like 200 people to suddenly show up and you're suddenly gonna need optimal bin packing? Like, that's never gonna happen. It's I just found that really funny. Another thing is, one of the words that almost all the French people know from English is the word nice. And so, and they all say it kind of the same way. And if they don't know what you're saying in English, they'll just like nod their head and go, nice. 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 And just like, and every time they do it, I just think of the this one? This one.
Excuse me?
I think it's this one.
My name is Brad, and I need to report a crime, anonymously.
Oh,
Anonymous.
what's the crime?
Well, I attend South Park Elementary, and one of the teachers is having sex with a student.
Oh my God! the right thing telling the police, Brad. Or what's his name?
Well, it isn't a guy teacher, it's a woman.
A woman?
Yeah, she's having sex with a boy.
Oh, but she's ugly, right?
Well, no, not really. It's the kindergarten teacher, Miss Stevenson.
The blonde?
Yeah,
Some young boys having sex with Miss Stevenson?
yes.
Nice. Nice.
What? No,
Yeah, anyway, it reminds me of that every single time. It's just like, nice. But I found that really funny. Oh, what else is there? Oh. So, like, and maybe this is just the people that I know, a lot of the French people that I know in the US are, like, super rude. And that's, like, it's just, I don't know, maybe the people I know. But, they're nice people. They're just, like, outwardly rude. Like, maybe it's the like, social cues or whatever, but I don't know. Anyway, like, most of the French people I know in the US are rude. But everyone that, like, all the French people in France were super nice. They were, like, some of the most polite people I've ever met, and, like, went out of their way to, like, try and help whenever possible, and it was just, like, a really, really cool thing. They will also say, merci, merci, a million times. And, I think that's completely cool, but it was just like, it was like very, very surprising to me. But you said you wanted me to say one thing in French, and I learned, so there's this proxy technology that was written by Lyft called Envoy, and one of the like work memes that we have is to intentionally mispronounce it as envoi, just to like mess with people. But it turns out envoi is actually a French word, and it means send. And we also have another work meme that's like, what's the like, this one. I'm gonna send it.
I just woke up from a little nap. It's a little dark, but you guys silly? I'm still gonna send it.
This meme, like, this is kind of a epitomization of, yeah, I'm just gonna like fuck it, ship it, and I'm gonna send it. And it's just funny to me that envoi is send it in French. Wait, I thought you were born in Michigan, but I meant where did you come from on Sunday? Oh, I came from France. Oh, I was in France for a week. But yeah, anyway, let's do some programming stuff. Actually, let me get through the rest of my like recap. So I am super excited about Frozen Map. I did some curses stuff with my text editor on the airplane. I also did some work on dead, which is my dead code detection. Somebody made an issue that was like, it'd be cool if it detected dead function arguments, and I was like, oh, can't be that hard to implement. So I've made a short implementation of like detecting function arguments that are unused. It also has some like interesting edge cases, like it needs to know about functions that are intentionally not using their arguments, so like things that just raise not implemented error, or are just a pass, or are just a doc string, or just ellipsis, or anything like that. So I added that. I made an internal breaking change to Pi upgrade, which if you guys hang out in Discord, you'll chuckle about this, but it was for a good reason. I basically switched internally. I was using a bunch of like booleans to represent the minimum version that I was using, and I switched that to an actual version tuple, so that allowed me to. It didn't actually simplify any code here, but it allowed me to implement the next patch, which is an interesting one, which is Pi upgrade. Oops, that window go. Pi upgrade can now remove future imports, and that was necessary. The version change was necessary to make it. Previously, I said that I wasn't going to do this because I have another tool that also does this, but I changed my mind. It was kind of fun to implement, kind of on the airplane. Kind of cool. Worked on that. What else? Did a couple little things in pre-commit. They're not super interesting. I also built a new library, and the idea for this one, I was like drunk on one of my vacation days and like trying to fall asleep, and it was like 2 a.m. And then I was like, what if, because for whatever reason I was thinking about regular expressions. Apparently drunk me is like, oh yeah, the regexes, that's the thing to think about now. So I was thinking about regular expressions, and I was thinking about testing and how much of a pain in the ass it is when you try and test a regex, because you usually end up, I can just like show. Just make some regex here. I don't know. Something like this, like foo foo followed by some hexadecimal string. So let's say we did this. And if we went to run this, or install PyTest. What do you mean, you know pip? Yeah, you get like kind of this useless error message, which is like assertion error, assert none, and then you also get this warning about asserting none, which I never really liked this feature of PyTest, this particular feature of PyTest. Like, I didn't think we should have added this because it's already always going to be an assertion failure at this point. So like, why warn about it at the same time? But I don't know. That's for me to gripe about another day. But anyway, like this assertion message is like really hard to follow because like, oh, I have this regular expression, but when did it fail and like why did it fail? And so the idea I had as I was going to bed is regexes are really just like a state machine that follow the string, and like if you ever get to a state that's not satisfied, then it doesn't match and it rejects the string. But if you like try to match a portion of the string and it's successfully, like it doesn't get to the exit state of the state machine, then it's still like a successful partial match. And so I got this idea that like maybe someone else had taken either a regex language or a subset of a regex language and did like partial regex matching. And I did some Googling about this. There's like some JavaScript libraries that do this. There's some Perl, but I didn't want to write Perl. But it turns out that the regex module, which is a kind of fork slash backport slash forward port of the Python RE module that is equivalent but has some other stuff, has this partial equals true, which kind of implemented what I wanted. What I essentially wanted was a way to say, if this regex partially matches, where does it start failing? And so I wrote this tool, or this library called reassert, like regex, not pip reassert, pip install. And so you can use it like this. Let's say we already have that regex. You do import matches. Matches. You can use it like this. So you construct one of these matches objects. This is not the usual API. The usual API is like if you want to assert the output of something, you would do like assert matches and then like foo whatever and then equals some string, and you can use this in nested objects or whatever. But let's say I have this, and then we run that same test as before. We're gonna get a much better assertion message. It'll basically say like, we expected this matches object and it didn't match this string, but the really cool part is the library I wrote will tell you exactly where that regex started to fail. So it knows based on a binary search and that partial matching thing that I showed you before. But it knows that like these 4 characters matched this regex here, or at least this portion of the regex. And then this is the first position where it stopped matching the rest of the regex, which I think is really cool. And if I had this before, it would have saved me so much time. Like I've probably spent, before I realized that you could binary search regexes to like see whether they match or not, and like carry down the pattern that way. I've burned so many hours debugging like crappy regex. But this is kind of like a cool little way to visualize this a little bit easier. I learned that Duolingo is a game category here on Twitch. There's this girl that spoke like 9 languages. That's cool. I mean, that would be like something I would potentially watch. Oh, Duolingo is a category. There's 5 viewers. That's kind of cool. Huh. Learning some weeb. A lot of Japanese English. Kind of makes sense. Kind of fair. But yeah, so I built this library. It's pretty cool. I'm excited to use this when I get the chance, but it definitely makes like testing regexes a lot more sane. It's not just testing regexes. The bigger point is like testing outputs of things. So like one example in like pre-commit that I would replace with this. This one? Yeah, so like I have these like outputs in pre-commit right now that are just like these regexes, and whenever git changes or I switch to a different operating system or whatever, it's like really annoying that these regexes break all the time, and it's really hard for me to like figure out like which part of this regex doesn't match. But now with reassert, it will point me exactly where it fails. I also built a little method, so like if you're not using PyTest, you can still use this library pretty well. It happens to work really well for PyTest, but it will work just as well for things as well. Max Headroom says, it cracks me up when workshops use RE as a practical example of how state machines work. Insta isolate half the audience. Yeah. Oh man. I think using regular expressions to explain a lot of things is just such a bad strategy, because they're like, I understand how they work because I've spent a long time like playing with them and like working with them, and it's just like expecting other people to deal with that is just crazy. And especially explaining like finite state automata that way, like DFA regexes is just like good fucking luck. Here's a diagram. On a diagram. Why do you know diagram? Wikipedia. Nope, that's not it. That's also not Wikipedia. Anyway. Yeah, like explaining how regexes work using state machines. I think like explaining the internals of regex is fine, but explaining state machines with regex is just asking for a disaster. But I built this thing, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it. But that's most of what I did on my vacation while I was supposed to not be programming. Funny to watch you programming while I'm having problems making elif and while loops to work. Started studying Python 2 weeks ago, making this car loan calculator. Cool. Yeah, it's always, I mean, you gotta start somewhere, and honestly, you'll get better over time. I look like I know what I'm doing, but a lot of times I don't know what I'm doing too. So it's a progression. You'll get past those basic things pretty quickly, and then I'm sure you'll do great. But I've been programming for almost 20 years. I think it's been, let's see, I was 10 years old when I started. It's been 18 years, so my age in programming can now vote in the US. I did work a little bit on my text editor offline. I think I implemented like 3 little things. Oh, this one is a pretty funny bug. Just show that bug. So I found a way that my text editor could scroll into negative portions. Oh, I forgot to. That's. Check out to a buggy version. So I learned that if you scroll down a bunch and then you shrink the window and then you scroll up a bunch, it will scroll to a negative portion of the file. Yeah, here we go. So it won't let me scroll up past this point because this is the beginning of the file. But this is actually the end of the file. And the reason it displays like this is there's two state variables that my text editor uses to figure out where the cursor position is. One of them is the actual cursor lines, so like the absolute position of this cursor in the file. And then the other one is the top of the file offset. And right now the top of the file offset is like negative 10 or 12 or something like that. And in Python, if you index an array with a negative number, it just wraps around from the end. And so this doesn't crash, it just produces a pretty funny output. But fixing that was pretty easy. I think I just like, I just like make sure that the that when you scroll up you can't go past 0. And I wrote like a little test that does essentially what I just did manually. It took me, I did this one on the airplane, and it took me like a full 2 hours just to write this one line of code, because I could not for the life of me figure out how to make this happen. So sometimes programming is very frustrating. Like I knew this was possible because I had done it, like I accidentally did this on stream at one point, and then I was like, huh, that's weird. I should probably like leave a note for myself and figure that out later. I spent like 2 hours on the airplane being like, how the fuck is this possible? And of course, like I was cheap on the airplane, so I didn't pay for internet. And so I was like I could have just gone to my YouTube video and like watched back the playback, but I'm is that really worth it? Am I really gonna pay money so that I can fix a micro bug in my text there? I was like, no, I'll figure it out. It'll take me a while, and I'll figure it out. Because I spent like 2 hours trying to reproduce this stupid bug. But once I was able to reproduce it, it was pretty easy for me to like turn that into a test case, and then once I had a test case, I could write this measly one line of code to fix the actual bug. That was one thing that I did. I also did like an internal refactor of the text editor. This is going to make it easier for me. Like I was kind of brainstorming some of the problems with the text editor, and one of the problems right now is it's going to be really difficult to optimize in the future. So right now, anytime any action happens in the text editor, so let's open it up. Anytime I do anything, so like even if I press the right arrow key or the down arrow key, it's actually repainting this entire screen every single time. Even though like none of the contents is changing, it's constantly repainting everything. And if I like, it was kind of, I forget how I did it. There was some like operation that caused it to lag a bunch, and I don't remember what it is. Oh, that's what it was. Did you see it? The cursor like blinked up here. Here, do it again. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So like, depending on, I mean, eventually I want to get to the point where it's not continually redrawing everything. Like super hard to see here, but there's like there's a blink here. But I eventually want to get to the point where if I make a, like, say I make a character insertion here, it should really only redraw this character and everything after it on the line. Like say if I made a character insertion here, it should really only redraw these 3 characters. But right now it's redrawing the entire screen. And in order to do that, I kind of need to split apart all the parts and only draw them when something interacts with it. Of course, like when you resize the window, you need to redraw everything, because like this will recenter, and like if you go small enough, you'll need to do the scrolling stuff here and a bunch of other stuff. But in order to do that, I need to kind of like compartmentalize some of the objects, so I started doing that. And so I took some of the functions and gave them a little bit of state, and that helped me. It actually helped me clean up some of the code a little bit. So like the header is now a class that you pass the file name into it, and it has a draw method. This will eventually become like an event callback for like resizing and changing the file or whatever. I moved this write header function out and this write status function out. It's like status is now a class. And it also allowed me to remove a lot of the like pseudo, like kind of globalish state that I had in my main function. So I had like this modified boolean, I had this status string, this action counter, like all this stuff that kind of is loosely, well not loosely, but strongly related. I even had essentially like a method here that was just kind of hanging out. But I was able to like box this up into separate little classes. Now like there's when modifications happen, we can assign the modified method, and status updates happen, we'll call the status update. Instead of doing this logic directly in the main, it's now encapsulated away into a class. It was kind of like a nice little refactor that happened here. I also did this one on the airplane. My original goal was to do the full partial drawing stuff, but I realized that like doing that all in one pull request was going to be too much work. And so I just did like an incremental fix here, and then I got like burnt out on trying to do the full partial drawing stuff. That was kind of where I stopped there. Hey, what's up, Chirag Pagaria? Thank you for the follow. Hope your Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day it is for you, hopefully it's going well. Hopefully you're less injured / sick as I am. That was pretty cool. I also implemented page up and page down, which actually took a lot of thinking. Did I do that one on the plane? Yeah, I did this one on the airplane back. This time zone is complete bogus. Oh, maybe it's right. This would have been like 2 hours before I landed. Oh no, this is 6 in the morning. No, this is right after I took off. But I implemented page up and page down. There's a bit of math here and some like fiddly edge cases. I'll show you. But now I can use Control V and Control Y, which is what the Nano keyboard shortcuts are, or I can do. Oh, of course, you can't see my keyboard, but I'm pressing page down and page up right now. But there's like some fiddly edge cases. So like if you're in the top page and you press page up, it should just go to the beginning of the file. There's also like a fiddly edge case here where like you're in the middle of this line here, but you go to the beginning of the line here, and then you press page up. It should still retain that X position. So that was a little bit weird. There's also the case where you're partway through a page here, and you page down, so this is the last line of the file. This is the last line that's being displayed, and so this should become the first line, I think. So that was a little bit weird. If we go all the way to the bottom of the file, right, if you page down here, it should just go to the end of the file, but not scroll at all. So in all the other cases, when you do page up or page down, the cursor is always going to end up on this top line here. So page up, page down, the cursor's always here. But when you page down at the end of the file, you have to move the cursor. So it's like a slight twist on that. And it was just kind of like fiddly to make it work properly. Had a lot of like weird bugs where the cursor would end up over here, which it shouldn't do. Like you should never have a cursor in the title bar. Also had it scroll negative, which actually didn't crash anything, but it just made the cursor do nothing. But I fixed that up, and then that wasn't a problem. Immediate mode GUI, yeah. My friends at Urbana-Champaign party like crazy and are liberal arts majors and complain. I'm out here doing computer science, just asking for one day of not doing schoolwork. That's pretty funny. Yeah. It was always like, even at Michigan, there was definitely like a big difference between the, like, I don't want to say the hard majors, because like, I'm sure every discipline has its own difficulties, and like I just don't understand the difficulties of some of the disciplines. But like philosophy majors, man, they had the greatest parties because, I mean, I don't know, I don't want to guess why, but my presumption is that they didn't spend as much time working on homework or whatever. But like you could kind of tell who was working on a harder major. I don't want to say things are harder. I don't want to be a gatekeeper. Don't put those words in my mouth. But they don't get software engineering jobs. That's right, anime lover. They don't. They become lawyers and then make way more money. Rise in code. Did you use your professor's office hours a lot in college? No. I think I went to maybe 2 or 3 office hours. Most of the office hours that I went to was to complain about grades, which is super petty and whatever. But yeah, I didn't do office hours very often. I was mostly of the like mentality that if I couldn't figure it out myself, I was just not gonna know that, and would try really hard to figure it out myself before asking others. But that's just kind of the way I function. Like I'm somewhat introverted, which like would kind of maybe surprise you because I'm talking to people, to strangers on the internet on Twitch while I write code in front of people. But like, if I can avoid talking to people, I will avoid talking to people. I hate talking on the phone. If I ever talk to you on the phone, then you know something's either like super fucked or or you're a very, very special person. But I hate talking on the phone. If I can avoid talking on the phone, I will just not. Which actually is one thing that's like super stressing me out right now because I have to get the stitches out of my hand eventually. It means I need to go to the doctor, and I'm pretty sure going to the doctor means I'm gonna have to talk to somebody on the phone. And just thinking about that's raising my blood pressure because I don't want to talk to someone on the phone. But so my problem with talking to people on the phone is not the concept of like talking to people. Like the problem for me is that when you talk over like just an audio input, you miss all of the like social cues and like mouth structure and movement, like all of the hints that help you understand what people are saying. And I find that just from audio, I tend to have a really difficult time understanding what people are saying. And having to constantly being like, what did you say? Can you say that word clearly? Can you enunciate? Like, doing that just like, oh, it's like twists something that's just like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's why I don't like talking to them. Like, I don't have a problem talking to people. I am introverted, but I don't have a problem talking to people. Max asks, what compels you to stream? Does it scratch some itch / some kind of outlet? I originally started streaming because I wanted some excuse to work on a couple of things. One of them was to like work on open source in a structured manner, so like set out to do something, do it, but also like have a record of me doing it, and like kind of get better about doing that. The other part was I wanted to get better about talking about code, like explaining things and like having other people understand what I'm talking about, and like showing others how I approach problems and like use tools and stuff, and like being able to explain those tools. and streaming kind of gave me a way to do that. But I think the reason that I still continue to do it now is kind of fun. Like interacting with chat and like having someone to like, you know, bounce ideas off of, or like show cool things, or like shoot the shit about code is kind of, I don't know, I kind of like it. That's why I stick to it. I'm actually gonna go grab some more water. I have a little bit left, but it's really hot in San Mateo right now, and it doesn't look like it's gonna. Freedom units for you. It's pretty hot in San Mateo. It doesn't look like it's gonna cool down, and my room is actually really, really warm. So I'm gonna go open a window, get a drink of water, and I will be right back. And then I promise we'll write code. It's been an hour, haven't written any code yet, but I promise we'll write some code. So I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, so open a window, turn on a fan, got a drink of water. Hopefully there's a breeze coming through now. Oh, a little bit. Still really hot in my room. But yeah, so what do I want to work on today? So I'm gonna work on my text editor. What do I have going around here? Oh, this is my test for horizontal scrolling, which Babi's actually getting almost to the point where it's usable, which I think is kind of cool. Like most of the operations for moving around a file that I use are implemented. One that I haven't implemented yet is control end or control home, which apparently sends this khum5 and kend5 key code. Haven't implemented that yet, so I could probably do that pretty quickly. Actually, we'll probably do that first, just so I can definitely say that I wrote code during this stream. But I don't know, how am I gonna... I guess I'll figure it out. But we'll implement... I implemented home and end on the airplane. But this control home key. We don't have a separate key for that. Oh, this is not... Yeah, but control home and control end, so like in Nano, if I do this, they go to the beginning of the file and the end of the file. We don't... I don't have those implemented. So I'm going to do it near this page up and page down tests. It's kind of the same thing, except on a different scale. Test control home. Control home is the easier one. Control end is a little bit trickier. Shazawak says, why do some people like snake case on Python? So Python actually has an official document that recommends snake case, which is the style guide for Python code, PEP 8. This is what guides the new code standards for stuff that's implemented in CPython. Snake. Oh, is it not listed here? Am I wrong? I could be just wrong. Does it? Do they not talk about it here? Huh. I might be wrong. Where they talked about it here? Naming conventions. Here we go. Naming styles. There are a lot of different naming styles. It helps to be able to recognize blah 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 blah. Following naming styles are commonly distinguished. Anyway, basically, there's some recommendation here to use in case, and so that's why it gets commonly used in Python, and I tend to just stick with that. There are a couple cases that are used otherwise, so like use capitalized words for classes, and this for constants, and underscore prefixes for private stuff, and double underscore for special methods, these, and double leading underscore for name mangling. But other than that, it's just that's why. Wait, you can use kebab case in Nim? Really? You can have dashes, you can have and you can have dashes in your names? Nim variable name. Nim supports 3 different types of variables. Yeah. Where's the like grammar? Grammar. Nim grammar changes for no good reason. This is what I want. ENF. Will this be readable? How do they not have symbol? Sim start characters, sim characters. A to Z, 0 to 9. This doesn't have dash in it. Unless this contains dash. 80 to XFF. There we go. 128. Control characters are valid. Oh. Are you sure there's dashes in names? Anyway, I'm on a tangent. But yes, that's why underscores. So I'm just going to set up a file here. And I've set the window, I'm basically copying this example up here. I've set the window to a really small height just so it's easier to scroll. This file is only 10 lines tall, so easier to do it that way. We can use the new page down that I implemented before, run that 2 times. We'll just run it 3 times. Why not? And then we want to press Control Home. I think that's how that works. We'll find out. It might just write C-home to the output, which then we'll have to figure out how to do this. But what this should do is it should scroll up to the very, very beginning of the file. So we should expect the cursor to go to 0, y plus 1. 0, y plus 1, 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 0, y plus 1 and we should expect line 0 to show up on the screen. But I think this should fail right now. We should make sure that this text goes missing first. So the way the test harness works is it's the test process and a background tmux process, and test process, background tmux process, and the test process sends a bunch of commands to this, but it's asynchronous. So like if this doesn't respond fast enough, the test process could like zip through all of these assertions and then suddenly start doing stuff out of order, and then this would pass or fail for the wrong reasons. So there's kind of some implicit flakiness because it's a multi-process system. And so there's several methods on the harness that allow me to not really, I mean, they're kind of like checkpoints or synchronization points where like you assert that you've reached some steady state before you run a command and try and progress further. And so one of the steady states is like waiting for text to be gone or waiting for the cursor to be at a certain position. And these also double function as assertion method. So like waiting for text to appear or disappear. Like if the text doesn't disappear, then clearly something is wrong. It's modeled, or the framework is modeled off of Selenium, which is a framework for remote controlling a web browser and like saying like, oh well, wait for this page to appear, or like click on a button and wait for this dialogue to appear, or like select this part of the page and interact. It's kind of the same strategy as that, but like with Selenium, you spend a lot of time like defining well-defined checkpoints and having like spin loops that wait for outcomes to happen. Hey, what's up, B? Long time no see. Partially because I haven't streamed in a while, but hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing. Hope you're not sick like I am or injured. You didn't hear, but I like cut open my hand in France, which is shitty, but happens. But yeah, hope you're doing well. Good to see you as always. But yeah, I'm working on. So this test should fail right now. Test control home. Be quick to implement. So, it did not send the key combination that I expected. What the fuck did it send? As we saw when you control home. C dash or caret. Let me try with caret instead. Because this is not the unknown key that I expect. Oh, this is the control sequence it sends though. That sucks. I don't know what I'm gonna do there. Because tmux is sending a sequence that looks right, but is different from what my program is interpreting. It's 5 AM in Turkey and I just woke up. Probably going to sleep again in 15 minutes, so I just came to say hello. Well, thanks for stopping by. What is this that you sent me? Hit run. I guess you can put it in these special backticks, and that allows you to just make a variable whatever you want. Why didn't I see that in the grammar? Was I just not looking? Unless symbol is not necessarily... Doesn't look like the full grammar. Yeah, this is not. That explains that then. Oh, because I'm just looking at some random person's nim plugin. That's not what I want. Nim language grammar. Oh, maybe this is the grammar. Identifiers and keywords. Doesn't help though. Parameters, no. Anyway, I'm sure it's in here somewhere. But it's kind of surprising to me, but it's also kind of cool, I guess. You can kind of name a variable whatever you want, which as long as there's like a nice I guess you probably can't name a variable single tick character though, so that's that. But you can name it mostly whatever you want. Hey, what's up, JL? Long time no see. Why do you want to know? I don't know. I don't know why I want to know. I'm always curious about these kind of things. It's unfortunate though that this is not that this key sequence is different than when I send control home. I wonder what's different here. You know, let me see if I open up Nano if with this utility if that works. So we've opened up Nano. Okay, cool. So there's GNU Nano. Can send V a few times. Oh, what was it? Press. R.press. Press that a couple of times to allow us to scroll down. So we've scrolled down a bunch, and now if we send control home, does it go to the top? It does. Why does that one work? Hey, what's up, TubeWorm? Oh yeah, my emoji's live. Now you can get Now you can get the Python in chat. I forgot about that. Oh, I wonder if I updated the emoji command. I did. The bot knows. I had to subscribe to myself so that the bot could post emojis, which is the thing, I guess. But what the fuck? Why does it work here? That's really annoying. Because when I press Control Home here, I get a completely... Oops, that's Control H. I get a completely different key set. Or, not key set. A different key code. Let me... Let me... What am I gonna do here? I'm gonna try and implement the callback that I expect to see and see if it gets hit there. Okay, HOM 5. Because it might just be a bug in... What the heck happened here? Oh, it crashed because I didn't terminate it properly. Typo. Friend showed me a credit card with built-in two-factor authentication. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, so this is not working properly. Dang it. Let me make a small curses app. I already have one here. What was this doing before? Oh, that's weird. Control Home is now giving me a completely different set of characters here. Oh, that's the keypad false? Oh. That's weird. So, my guess is that Emux Senkeys has a bug? Or... I wonder if you... Oh, I don't want to go home. If I send this key combination, so control bracket and then 1 semicolon. Wait, no, that didn't work. That's weird. It says the meta key. And a tiny display with the number digits. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, what the f is going on here? Maybe I won't implement this thing that I thought was going to be super simple. There's some other, like, mode that I need to turn on. Sea brake mode. Sometimes called rare mode. Let's see what mode I'm in right now. Sea brake is enabled, so it's not that one. Giving the program mode. That. Echo mode. That's not on. Half delay. Similar to sea brake mode, in that characters typed by the user are immediately available to the program. However, if you're blocking for this amount of time, raise an exception if nothing. Okay, so this is like the typing chords for like them or whatever. Enter new line mode. So we turn off new line mode. We turn on C break. We turn on echo. Same thing. Leave raw mode. Return to normal cooked mode. We turn on raw mode to set the keypad. I don't know what keypad's about though. Procore says, sorry for lurking, just wanted to watch smart people code. I don't know if you've come to the right place. I'm raging at computers today, that's what's going on. Yeah, my concern is that I don't want to have to implement the full meta key processing thing. It seems like there's a bug in the keypad implementation right here. So I turn off keypad and I press Control Home. Oh wait. Is it that I needed this? Fuck. How was I triggering that before? Oh, it's with keypad false. So like this is the sequence, the escape sequence that is sent with Control Home. And I don't really want to implement all of these escape characters. That seems like a pain in the butt. Keypad. Option enables the keypad of the user's terminal. If enabled, a user can press the function key and wget_ch returns a single value representing the function key. If disabled, then the program has to interpret the escape sequence as itself. Yeah, that's the tricky thing. Oh, okay, so I'm probably not gonna implement this. What is this meta? Initially, whether the terminal returns 7 or 8 bits depends on the roll mode of the what? No idea. Hey, what's up, Procore57? Thank you for the follow. Hope your day's going well. Thank you for lurking again. Okay, we're not implementing this today because I don't want to deal with escape sequences, and I think that's hard. And I don't use that key combination very often anyway, so never mind. We'll leave this as a failing test. I'll come back to that later. But at least I've defined the behavior. Let me make sure that the test suite still passes with that there. Kind of annoying. Have you ever used the Nix package manager for C? I've played a little bit with Nix. it seems like a good idea. It's not just for C, it's for pretty much anything. The kind of cool thing, or the thing that I really like about it is it's all about like reproducible state, and like rolling forward and rolling backward is always a safe operation. Like your package manager is only dealing with immutable parts, and I think that's really awesome. The problem that I have with it is and at least in my usage of it, it tends to be slightly unstable. It has like the same problems as like Brew or Honda or Arch or what is it called? What was that thing? Oh, it's gone. Sigwin, that's what it's called. They all have kind of the same problem with that, like dealing with the bleeding edge and like a million variables of packages is generally less stable than like an LTS release. Like that part of it to me is like kind of annoying. But it's a cool idea. Like I really like the idea of pure immutable parts and being able to roll forward and roll backward in a good way, and like having parallel installations. Like all that part seems really great to me. I can't use it as my system manager because like either I would have to freeze the world and like periodically update just little parts and bits and parts, or I would deal with conflict and broken packages all the time. I just don't have time for that. That's why I run Ubuntu Bionic, which is a long-term support version of Ubuntu, because it's more stable. And that's why I do it. It's like I don't have time to deal with everyone's broken ass packages. Like Chrome. Why are you not rendering this web page? No, it's white instead of black at least. But yeah, I run like LTS releases and stuff like that for me. You can use it in userland. Yeah, I know. You can use it to manage like just a subset of your system. But like, how many package managers do I realistically want to deal with? But yeah, I have used it before. It seems great. I like the concept of it. I wish more package managers had this idea. Like, it would be really cool if Python packaging worked by all immutable bits, and it wasn't just like splat some random files on a disk and hope that you can delete them later. Yeah, I mean, dealing with really old software does suck too, Word. I agree with you there. That part about LTS is kind of annoying. Because dealing with old shit is. Anime Lover says, do you ever feel like the people who complain in life never look at what they did was wrong? That's kind of an extreme way to put it. I do feel like sometimes that's true, but I don't want to just like blanket people. Like everyone who complains is not being introspective enough. So there's definitely people that are guilty of that. I'll agree with that, but I don't think like everyone is that way. Unfortunately, I know too little about the fact that monad is just a monoid in the category of endofunctors. Yes, indeed. Quite. Amazing. But yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that I don't know how to do this control. Well, I don't want to get hung up on this stupid escape sequences thing. We're not going to do that. The tests are still passing. We have one skip test. Add failing test for control home. Cool, we did that. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to make work, which is not working today, is opening multiple files at once. And this is actually kind of complicated. But like the way Nano does this today is kind of two ways. There's you open a file, it displays like you have some number of files open, and if you close one file, it opens the next file and changes this number here. You can also use Alt plus the arrow keys to navigate between the different files. So I want to make that work as well, and it wraps around. So if I press, you can't tell, but I'm just pressing right here, and it wraps around. And then if you were to close the second file, it'll go to the first file. And so I kind of want to make that work. That's one thing that I could try and work on today. The other thing that I could start making work is saving. But saving is actually pretty complicated. There's a bunch of stuff that needs to happen for saving. First, like, you need to check whether the file was modified. If the file doesn't have a name, you need to prompt for one. If you're quitting, you need to prompt for a file. What else do you need to do? You need to, like, actually save the thing. But most of this is not hard. This is kind of tricky. You kind of, like, the way Nano works is if you save, you get this, like, prompt box here. And it supports read lines, so you can, like, jump around in it and, like, control arrow keys and, like, do all the things that you would be able to do with, like, kind of a terminal. But they're, like, as far as I can tell, they implemented all this functionality, and there isn't any, like, built-in way to do this. Also, this one doesn't have it, but, like, in theory, you could use the arrow keys to access previous history and stuff, and, like, all sorts of stuff like that. But I, like, none of that is implemented, so I would need to implement essentially the same thing. Now, kind of the nice thing is I've already implemented the, like, scrolling portion of that. Like, this is already done here, where I have scrolling here. But I don't have, like, navigation by word, and I don't have history editing, and but I do have, like, the scrolling part, so I could, in theory, maybe reuse some of that code to implement, like, a text box-like thing here. But that part's hard, so I'm gonna implement saving. I'm not gonna implement that for now. I'll do it later. I'll probably do it on a weekend stream where I have, like, 6 hours to sit down and build it, but this is gonna be a shorter stream, especially because I'm sick and or sick-ish. I think I'm getting better. My goal is to go into work on Thursday, and not be sneezing or whatever. I haven't been sneezing, so maybe I'm better. Who knows? Nano has support for multiple files? Yes, it does. I use it all the time, especially when so, like, for example, one thing that I'll do is, like, let's say I wanted to refactor all the times that I call this write line function. So I might gret for all of the calls to it. Be like this, and there's a bunch of calls to it. I can find all the file names that use that, and then I can open them all at once with Nano. So now I have all of the 11 files that call write line. One thing that's really annoying, though, let's find a file, or find a project that has a lot of files. Yeah, so let's say that I fucked up my regex somehow and accidentally opened up every single file. Now I have 202 files open. And so I have to close every single one of them individually, which takes a while. And there's no, like, quit all the files in Nano. Like, in Vim you would do, like, QAll. There's no thing for that. But in Babi, what I want to do is have, like, a command mode. Like, you would press the escape key. Like, the way I want it to work is you press escape Oh. Oh. Escape is literally the escape. This is the same character sequence that we saw earlier. When we were looking at that home key, end key thing being pressed. I'm gonna have to do something clever somewhere about something. I don't even know where to begin about it. I don't know anything about terminals and escape sequences. But I eventually want to be able to press escape and like open up a command dialog at the bottom, and you can type stuff into there, and then I could implement like QAll bang there and have a way to quit. But that's all just like super pie in the sky eventual idea. Although I expect it's gonna be difficult given like all the weird edge cases I keep running into about like key press. Yeah, that's annoying. But so the problem with this, and the problem with how I've set up the main function for babi, is right now all of the state happens in this one function, and I kind of need like a separate layer for it. Like, it'd be nice if I just pass. Let's see, what other args are there? It's just, oh, there's color test, and then there's file name. So I could kind of, oh, there's also another case. If it's a brand new file, you have to handle stuff differently. So right now, babi just crashes on new files, which I need to fix. Like if I do babi foo, there's no foo file right now, it just kind of crashes. But Nano lets you create a new file, and it'll say like, this is going to be a new file, and so when you start modifying it and then you write it out, it creates a new file. So I need to make that work as well. But yeah, my plan here is to keep cmain being a function down here. Keep this function here, but then have this be process file or something like that. What do I want to call this function? I can't call it file. That's a built-in in Python too, though. That would allow me to move this around. So this wouldn't be called file, this would be called... maybe... Actually, yeah, no, that's fine. We'll call it edit file. And this goes away. If, oh, this has to be optional stir. Let's call it edit so it fits in the 80 characters. If file name is not none, then we open it. So actually I can already implement that status stuff here. Oops, this is the positive range. This will be the that. So now it shouldn't crash anymore, right? Oh, we don't have to. We have to actually run. Optional is not defined. Oh. Oh, that's how I switch tabs. Oh man. I meant to hit Control End to go to the bottom of the file, but I hit Control Page Down, and that allows me to switch tabs. That's so useful because a lot of times I want to like switch tabs to the next one, and right now I use like Alt 1 and Alt 2. But say you're on like the 8th tab and you need to press Alt 9, you have to like count the number of tabs and be like, oh, is it 7? And what I usually end up doing is like, I have a bunch of tabs. And when I go to the one previous to it, what I usually end up doing is pressing Alt and like just grabbing a number and then like, okay, I got there eventually. Press like Alt 6 and then eventually go to Alt 8. But that's pretty jank, so learn some stuff. Works is not the file name. Edit missing one argument. Yeah, so now we can edit stuff and quit and such. But we want to be able to do multiple file names, and this ends up being something like this. Dest equal file names. Do I want to do like that, or do I want to just edit the list directly? We'll just edit the list directly. Oh. Now, we need to actually do it like this. If we open no files, we need to be able to execute that. This is kind of what it'll look like eventually, but for now, we'll just do a for loop. So this should get us multiple files now. Guest supplied twice for positional argument. Do I forget how to arg parse? Or I knew what I was doing. Add argument. I have dest here. Am I not allowed to rename it? Oh, you know what it is? You're supposed to do this, and then metavar equals file name. That makes the help message, right? Right? Yeah, file name, file name, file name. That's what I want. Tricky. Okay, but now it should... Keep making that same mistake. Now it should allow me to open 2 files. That's cool. I like that. But we still need to display the like end of n somewhere. We also need to like deal with the return value of edit somehow, because we need to know like, was it closed forcibly? Was it saved? Like, what do we do in there? did I exit from this function with like go to the previous file also another thing. Oh, we should also make sure that this still works. Get a new file here. And if we edit a file that doesn't exist, then it crashes, right? Unbound local error. Oh, right, we need this, oh, we can do if is not none or not. Yeah, that should work, right? What do you mean? Oh. It should be and. I know how to programs. Cool, so now it shows new file. Eventually goes away. And then it shows that I edited it. Cool. Okay, so that's kind of cool. But now what to do with it? I think what I need to do, so like, this function needs to return a value that would tell the calling function how to handle it. So I think I need like a enum for this. And I don't usually use enums, so this will be a new one for me. That's another thing that I want Babi to fix somehow, is like when I edit in multiple windows, I want it to be able to reload. Or like, if I save, allow me to piece the diff together. That's kind of eventual features. I need to make basic editing work first. I need to not get ahead of myself, not try and implement the world all at once. Garlicman says, Anthony, do you mind checking out my variable if nesting problem? It must be a simple solution. Yeah, sure. Links are enabled in chat. I usually use this pastebin service, so if you wanna stick your code in there, I'd be happy to look at it. Oh, you're gonna send me an image. I don't want an image. Wait. It is actually an image of code. Let's see. Why doesn't my interest variable change after the if nesting? While true, cool. We set some variables. What values are you putting in here? Can you paste me code so I can actually run it? Oh, I see. You entered some values over here. 10,000, 5,103. So this variable, I don't speak your language. It's Norwegian. Yeah. Norwegian Python. Prisbill. And this is Python 3, I assume. Yeah, 374. Paste me some text, because that'll make this easier to run. Checking out line 41. Oh, fuck. That's pretty good. That's a good line. My goodness. Yeah, you might want to split this line up, just because it's kinda hard to read. But I see what you're doing. You're doing monthly compounding interest, I assume. But yeah, send me text, then I'll look at it. Yeah, enum is one of the modules that I never use. I always have to look. So we have exit, we have next, we have previous. So we'll implement the, like, the, no, oh wait, this is Alt plus arrow key. Maybe, I thought it was Alt plus page up and page down. Is it Control? No? Maybe it's Alt and arrow key. Abby thinks about that. Because my window is open, there's these little teeny gnats that you somehow get through the screen in my window, and I don't know how, but now I have a bunch of little like fruit flies around there. I'm a chaos coder, don't blame me. What is... these look like those same sequences that are gonna cause me trouble. In like raw mode or whatever. Hopefully not. But anyway, we're just gonna implement exit, next, and previous for now. For the 3 states that the outer function will have to handle. For like closing the file, or going to the previous file, or going to the next file. So that'll help me implement my little state machine down there. It results. Oh, now it doesn't fit. Although soon I will be able to do this. Get 1 character back. I wonder if I can just make a type alias for this. It's really window. Let's try that. And make a type alias to a string. At 484. Type aliases. Type aliases are defined using simple assignments. Okay. But can I do it with strings? Doesn't tell me. So there's one way to find out. I'm not sudo installing MyPy. Not happening. Don't you tell me that. e2.window is not a valid type. Yeah, that's what I thought. That is what I thought. Dang it. But the thing is, if I was able to do this, I think it's fine with that. Yeah. Problem is, can't do that because it crashes. And you could do something like this. But this is gonna be real ugly. That'll work, and then that'll run fine. But it's ugly as sin. Oh, that's so shitty. I wish this sucked less. Oh, I know a trick. I know a trick. I bet I can do this. I bet this works. This is a dirty trick. I bet this works though. So it runs, and it modify checks. Just like make a trivial union of this string. Gotta be a less shitty way to do that. Is that an anti-pattern? Probably. I wonder if there's like a first class. Oh, there's capital alias. All that the use of a type alias declares two types. Doing alias. If I remember right, there is an alias. Is that new? Typing. Typing alias. No. This works though. It's just gross. I wonder if Flake 8 passes that. Probably not. Yeah. Because I still haven't fixed this in PyFlex. Seems not worth it. The other way seems less shitty. All kind of gross. Let's do that one. Nah, we'll just leave it. I'm doing all this just to make a function short or function name shorter. I should stop trying to micro optimize my function name. Maybe another day. And I have to pass more stuff in here anyway, because we need to eventually be able to set the title bar. Oh, but maybe. Maybe these should get passed in too. Oh, because we also, when we exit here, we need to know whether it's been modified or not. So we really need to pass in like a file state here. Oh, we have the code now. We can do the code. Okay, cool. Oh, we don't want to save it. Just okay. I'm gonna try and translate these variables. Okay, let's see what we got here. So the easiest way to figure out what this code does is put a breakpoint here. And what were the values that we sent it? Open. Put in 10,000, 5,100, and 3. 10,000, 5,100, and 3. 10,000, 5,100, and 3. And the question was, why do we not update here? Okay, so if we look at this statement, that's false, so that should skip there. Then we go to this line here. That's false. That's the problem. Because it's slightly more than 0.5. Oh. This if statement can never be true. Yeah. This if statement can never be true. Is one of the problems. If you look on a number line here, you have 0.5 and 0.6, and the code is saying if it's less than or equal to 0.5 and greater than or equal to 0.6. So we have this portion here and this portion here, and it's saying and, so they would have to overlap. So that's impossible. That's always going to be false. That's part of it. But also this number is 0.51. But anyway, like I'm using the debugger here, which I would suggest that you. Is this Visual Studio Code? I don't know what editor this is. I assume it's VS Code. But the debugger is going to help you a lot because it'll help you like go line by line. If you want to use like the standard lib debugger, this why did it link me to 3.2 docs? He wants those. But this the debugger is kind of useful for stepping through code. Basically what I just did. Down here it lists all the commands. I used not very many of them here. I used N, and I guess that's all I used was N, which is go to the next line, or execute the next line. But the debugger is super useful, and like something I wish I would have I wish I would have been shown when I started programming. Because like I spent a lot of time not knowing the Python debugger and like wasting a bunch of time with print statements. Blech. Stuff that I don't do anymore. I very rarely use print statements, and only when it's absolutely necessary. J. Al asks, what's a good movie you watched recently? I can tell you a really bad movie I watched recently. So when we had like downtime in France, when we were like, oh, I don't want to walk anymore, because oh man, we walked a fuck ton in France. My dad's step counter, which is like slightly inaccurate, it undercounts steps. We did, it was 221,000 steps when we were in France, which is just like exhausting thinking about it. We were pretty much like 30,000 steps or more a day. Although some of the days not as much, but like there's a lot of steps. But some of our downtime, we opened the only English channel, which was just a movie channel. And one of the movies that we watched that was just absolutely terrible was Fantastic Four. It was just so bad. Not that the 2007 one. Just like so bad. It was like not just the special effects was bad, but the acting was just awful too. And what's up, Farlek Man? Thank you for the follow. But yeah, we watched this one because it was the only thing it was on, and it was just so bad. Not so fantastic. But also, like, the part that I remember that was just, like, really, really bad was one of the girl characters, which, like, completely forgettable. One of the girl characters gets, like, shanked by a spear or something, but they never actually show the spear. And they never actually show her getting hit by it, either. They just, like, cut from, like, this, like, bad dude, like, waggling his arm to this lady on the ground, but you don't see anything because you just see from like her like torso, like not even her torso, like her shoulder upwards. Like you see her arm like clutching her own body, but you don't see any part of like the spear or like her like potentially being like dead or whatever from it. You just see her on the ground. It's just like, and like it's a very like abrupt cut to it too. And it's just like really bad. And then they spend a bunch of time like with these like clever camera angles to like take every part of the scene except for her body where she would have been like shanked or whatever. But it was really, really bad. Also started watching the beginning of the World of Warcraft movie. Is it just called Warcraft? Yeah, this one. Started watching the beginning of it, but I have never played WoW, so I had no fucking idea what was going on. And my dad and I were like 20 minutes into it, and we're like, there's orcs and stuff, but no idea what's happening. So like, can't recommend that movie. And what else did we watch? Some X-Men movie. Pretty good, but I don't remember which one it was. They're all basically the same. I'm sure that'll piss off someone. I think the last like really good movie I watched was Detective Pikachu, which I cried at because I'm a sucker for Pokemon, and I don't know, it was one of those days where I was just like super emotional, and like in a theater, ugly sobbing to Detective Pikachu was definitely me by myself. While the kid, the like 8-year-old next to me is like, "Mommy, is he okay?" I'm just like, oh. But it was a great movie. Did I catch any Pokemon in France? No, I didn't. I haven't played Pokemon Go. Did I tell you about my Pokemon Go experience, Mindful Fox? Actually, I did catch some Pokemon on the airplane, but I didn't catch any Pokemon Go Pokemon while walking. I caught a shiny Onix. More accurately, I hatched one. But... Well, the person sitting next to me on the flight there was just like, "What the fuck are you doing? You've been wandering around in circles on your Pokemon game for hours, and that can't be entertaining." I was just like, "Oh no, I'm just hatching eggs. It's a thing." I'm like, "All right, you do you, man." It was kind of a nice, just like zone out, listen to music, hatch some eggs, try and not be bored out of my fucking. Were you walking on the airplane? No, I did pace a little bit because like it was a 14-hour flight, and it was just like, yeah, keep it together, man. Because like there's something like, I'm not usually claustrophobic, but something about airplanes just like drives me up a damn wall. Because I think part of it is like I realize that I have absolutely no control over the situation I'm in. I'm literally strapped into a piece of metal hurtling through the sky and like can't do anything about it. I realize that airplanes are incredibly safe and like not like concerned. It's more just like I feel helpless. And then like usually my flights are like 4.5 hours, 5 hours, because I'm going like East Coast, West Coast. And so like usually I can deal with that and I'm like completely fine with that, but like this is like a 14-hour flight. I was just like, ugh, I want to be in this place right now. Oh, I did get like a kind of cool accidental upgrade though. But the lady said it to me in French, so I didn't really understand. I don't know why she was speaking French. It was in the US too. But apparently my seat on the flight was broken, and I got like a free upgrade, and she said it in a very, very sad tone, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. She just like handed me my new boarding pass, and like I thought she was like, oh well, your seat's broken, so you're gonna have to sit in basic economy, and I've been like, well, at least I'm getting there. Don't give a fuck. Like whatever, let's go. But I got upgraded to like Comfort Plus or whatever, and so like I had a nice seat and it wasn't so bad. But I was just like, I was like, oh man, here goes my like shitty travel story. Because whenever I fly, like something goes wrong. I lost my luggage like 3 or 4 times. I've had delays, I've had cancels, I've had reschedules, I've been put up in a hotel like 4 times. And I don't fly that often, but like every time I fly, something's got to go wrong. This time it wasn't me though. My dad's luggage got lost during the during his layover, so like I was completely okay. Well, I guess I did have the like seat rearrangement, and I did go from an aisle seat to a middle seat, which I was not so happy about, because it means like I love the aisle because it means that I can get up and I can pee whenever I want. That's the important thing. That's the take home. But this one I could not get up whenever I wanted, and it almost was problematic. Like I, embarrassing to say, but I almost pissed myself on an airplane because I couldn't get out of my damn seat because the guy next to me was asleep, and I was like, I gotta go. I gotta get up. Let me up. And he was like passed out. And I tried the guy on the other side, and I was like, can you let me up? And eventually I got one of them to wake up and get me out of my seat, but almost pissed myself on an airplane, which would have been super awkward. Oh, your local Jerry says, thoughts on learning Python or JavaScript as a first programming language? Any advice? So here's my advice. If you're trying to get a job, they're both good languages, but JavaScript is much more likely for you to have more opportunities. If you're asking for good programming languages, I think Python is a better programming language than JavaScript. They're both the same like class of languages, and like they're both dynamic languages. They both have gradual typing if you want it. They can both like solve a lot of the same things, but they also have basically the same set of problems. They're very easy to build code that's hard to maintain, I guess. But from a beginner perspective, they're both pretty good. And like, you know, I tend to prefer Python for teaching people programming for the first time, just because it's like it's easy to get started. It's a forgiving language, and you'll learn the basics pretty well. It's also multi-paradigm, so you can learn a lot of different concepts just by working in Python. Like you can become a functional programmer. I won't recommend that path, but it's something you can do. You can learn procedural programming, which is what I tend to stick to the most. You can also learn object-oriented programming, deal with classes and object structures and that. But anyway, those are my thoughts. JavaScript's also super in demand right now because you can use it both in the browser, which is honestly most of what software development is nowadays anyways, like making a browser work or making an embedded browser work or stuff like that. But you can also use it on a server-side tech as well. Risky Click Master Tech M32, and I'm going to trust you. Can you believe I'm flying this sucker on my iPad? Man, people who don't program though on airplanes always get super like stressed out when like I open up a terminal and start hacking on stuff. A 14-hour hackathon, yeah, if only it was 14 hours of a hackathon. But for whatever reason, people seem to get like super stressed out when I start programming on an airplane. Like, there was this like old lady was like, "Are you hacking the airplane?" And I was like, "No, I'm just working on my text editor." Well, this wasn't a text editor; it was probably like linters or something. What's a linter? No, don't worry about it. I'm not connected to the internet. I'm not connected to the plane. You're fine. But part of me wants to just like troll people and just be like, what is the say command in macOS or whatever the equivalent is in others, and like put a slider on there that's like turbulence and increase or decrease it, or just like totally mess with someone who has no idea. Fortunately, I guess fortunately or unfortunately, most of the times that I fly are out of San Francisco, so a lot of people are tech. Can't really mess with people that way. Hey, what's up, your local Jerry? Thank you for the follow. Hope your day's going well. But yeah, sometimes you get people that are just like, "What are you, elite hacker band?" No. Programmer, just writing some cods, getting my fix on. But yeah, I did spend a significant amount of my flight writing code. Um, the problem was, oh, and the the other problem with this flight, and also contributed to why I almost pissed myself, is on international flights, alcohol is free, at least with Delta, and they just kept coming by, and my brain at the time was like, free alcohol. I got nowhere else to be. Let's just keep drinking free alcohol. And I basically programmed until I was just like too trashed to think about things in a reasonable manner. That's when I stopped programming. What could go wrong? Yeah. But I had a lot to drink on the flight there. On the flight home, I was sick, my hand hurt, and I was just like, I can't drink anymore, because we drank like every day in France. I drank a lot of wine. Man, one thing that I really miss about France though is wine is so cheap there. I went to like a supermarket and we picked up wine because one of the days we're like, my dad and I, whenever we go on a vacation, like usually one of the days is like just cheese, wine, and bread, and that's what we're gonna eat for dinner. And so we went to like a supermarket and went to buy wine, and like the like bottom shelf wine, which usually like isn't so. Oh, what playlist is this? It's linked below, but here's a link to the current position of the playlist. Yeah, the bottom shelf wine, which like usually I like to consider myself slightly more classy than bottom shelf, but sometimes like I want cheap wine, I'm gonna buy bottom shelf wine, or I'm gonna buy box wine. So sue me. But bottom shelf wine in France was like €1.50 for a full bottle of wine, which is like $1.75 in the US. I can't think of like, no, like maybe I can get like a half liter of, or like a liter of soda for $1.75. But I would call it pop. Yeah, like $1.75 for a bottle of wine. It was like crazy. And my dad's like, wait, well, we should get something slightly better than bottom shelf wine. So we got like decent wine for like $7. It was just like, this is wild. And like the expensive wine was like $20. It was just like, I think I've gotten cheap wine in San Francisco for like $10 to $15. Yes, I'm definitely doing the math correctly. Hey, what's up, Crit777? Thank you for the follow. Hope your day's going well. Yeah, no, I'm definitely doing the math right. So like it was €1.50 for like $1.65, even cheaper. And like €7 for the one that we bought. It's like $8 wine. Like €15 to €20. Like the most expensive wine they had there was €35, which is like $38. Which is like, well, San Francisco, $38 wine is not out of the question. This is probably like mid-shelf wine. But oh man, it was so cheap. It was so good. I was very happy with good cheap wine. But yeah, let's implement this edit result. I remember being in Malta and the house wine was like €5, and I was like, what the fuck? The glass and shipping must be 70% of the price. Yeah, that's true. Can't whine about the prices, eh? Yeah, true, Mindful Fox. Good pun, I approve. So Need this loop here. Res equals edit. If res equals edit result dot exit, then actually we'll just do this. That's how you reverse list, right? Reverse gives you a reverse list underscore reverse iterator, but I don't want that. I want backwards. Oh, then actually I could just do this. Because the reverse of none is just still none. And then I can treat this as a queue. Or a stack. Stack? Then we can do. And then if it's exit, continue. We already deleted the file from here. But if we want to go to the next file, then what would we do? So if we had this, so we have stack. So file name equals file names dot pop. If we want to go to the next file, we would reinsert this file, but at the beginning. And then continue the loops. Then we would just go to the next one. Yeah, that looks good. File names dot insert 0 file name. Oh, but I bet Nano keeps them numbered. Control arrow key? What was it? Alt arrow key? Yeah, there we go. Oh, Nano keeps them numbered. So we really want to move the number, not this. We should not do reverse. Just 11 index. Yay. So if it's exit, we want to instead del file names. If that's the last one, do tricky stuff. What happens if we are at the last file name and we exit it? Oh, it goes to the first file name? That's not what I expected. I guess it wraps around. So just modulo. That behavior seems fine. Oh, actually that makes this super easy. If we're going to the next file, we just do I plus equals 1. And then we can just do I equals I mod the length of file names. Oh. If you do next or previous and there's only one file open, you get this message. We'll need to handle that as well. But I think this lets me do that. let's try that. This is one of the cases where, like, I don't really know how I want it to work yet, so I'm not writing tests first. But usually I would do some test-driven development, but not here. Oh, is negative mod well defined in Python? Well, I know in C++ it used to not be. Negative mod. I feel like it used to be undefined behavior. If the second operand is 0, undefined, sure. Both operands are non-negative, then the remainder is non-negative. If not, the sign is implementation defined. Oh, they changed it in C++ 11. Okay.
No one to talk to, only my own thoughts to live with. My mind going to dark places.
But I want to know if it's specified somewhere. Unlike C or C++, Python's module operator always returns a number having the same sign as the denominator. Okay, so we'll always end up doing the right thing. This is what I want. I need to implement the key presses. Which is this A writ 3 and K left 3, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to send with tmux. So let's try and send it with tmux. Just gonna open up the same runner class that I had before. Send? I forget. All right. Press. Oh, we get a bunch of. I get an escape sequence. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to actually send. Oh, did I spell it wrong? Yeah, it's kind of annoying that escape is basically the same as this. I don't know why tmux is sending different keystrokes than the actual keyboard. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. Really unfortunate too, because in order to implement this correctly, well, in order to test this, I guess, I need to be able to detect these sequences somehow. Commands are sent to copy mode using -X. What does that mean? Maybe I want copy mode. I don't even know. -R flag causes the terminal state to be reset. I don't know what that means either. Let's make another runner again. Should be able to find that process. We have 3 of them lying around. Which one is which? EB is what. I forget how this works. -T. How does this work? Oh, here we go. Oh, it's called press. So -X -T0, and then control right. Not in a mode. What does that mean? Let's try -R and see what that did. It partially messed up the terminal state? Who knows? Alright, well for now, I'm going to implement this next and previous as a different keyboard shortcut, and we'll just... I'll switch it to something else later. So we can do Control Q... I use Control... I use R for anything? I don't use R. Do I use Control T? I want 2 like side-by-side keys that I don't use. I use Y, I use U. Well, I is indent, so I can't change that one. I use O. I don't use S, but I want to make that one work. Can't use Control D. I could probably just use like Alt Q. And Alt W. Yeah, let's do that. Assuming they Alt Q. It's literally sending. Oh, that one does escape sequences too. I feel like I've misconfigured my terminal somehow. Have raw mode on? Is that what I want? What if I turn that off? Same thing. Nice. Nice. Clearly that's not what I want. This needs to go up. How would I find that with a test though? Okay, cool. Exits again. Shoot. I don't know why this doesn't seem to be doing what I expect it to. Alt Q. Oh, I didn't want Alt Q. Yeah, this is sending 2 characters. This is Alt W. Do I use control? What is control H? It's backspace. Is it backspace in Babi is the other question. No. Alright, we're gonna use Control H and Control J for now. Oh, I realize HJ sounds kind of funny. Rip me. H should be left? So previous? Okay, so if we do Control H, we should stay on Babi. Yeah, it works. The problem is if I edit this buffer and then I go to the previous and then I go to the next, it resets the state. So we need to actually store file names. State. Which means... more thinking is necessary. Like, I kind of have this working, but I also need... I need a store state. Which also probably means I need to store... How does Nano do it? If I, like, move to a portion of the file, and then I go to the previous file. Oh, wait. Alt arrow key. And then I go back. Oh, it keeps the file position, too. So all of that state... Okay. Means I need to rearrange some stuff in Babi. Because I kind of want it to work the same. I don't have to make it work the same, but I kind of want to. So, the current state for a file, margin is not, this is not state for the file. These parts, these 4 variables are, so we need a position for file. I think lines is the only other state. I wonder if you set whether state is there. The modified state is a thing, but it already knows that. Oh god, what did I do? I fucked that file up. But yeah, the modified state needs to stay there. That feels like a bug in Nano. Control J is unbound. Oh, I did Alt J. Which just like, Alt J is just like, fuck my shit up. Look what it did to this file. Just like deleted these lines. Gross. But yeah, so I need to know the file name, I need to know the modified state, and the lines and the position. That's the state for a particular file. This needs to be per file, and the modified state needs to... Oh, I guess there's also the undo redo stack. Probably. If I type some stuff, I switch to this file. Type some stuff here, I switch back, and then I undo. Still manages that problem. So there's an undo and redo stack, which I haven't implemented yet, but I'll need that state. Ooh. I think that's all of it. Because the status gets reset, so we don't have to worry about that. One thing that I want to do in Babi that Nano doesn't do is, so I'm thinking about all the state and like how I need to initialize it, which is why I'm thinking about this. One thing that Nano does, which is kind of annoying, is on startup. On startup, Nano reads all of the files at once, so I don't know if you saw that. Oh, now I have this problem. So when you start up Nano with a bunch of files, it reads them all from disk. So like this status down here was like reading file, and like it pulls all this into memory if I remember correctly. How do I view this? How do I filter? Top me. And memory. What did I just do? I don't know how to use top. But I think it flirts everything into memory, if I recall. But obviously it's not in the top N here. Yeah, well, we saw it briefly there. I thought Shift M sorts by memory. Oh yeah, here we go. That seems small. Resident is this. Does it change as I exit these files? No. I mean, 14 megs of RAM is a lot for a teeny tiny program. find the... I have a bunch of nanos open, but none of them are 14 megs of RAM, so I assume that's how that works. So yeah, so it loads the whole thing into memory, which I don't want to do. I want it to be more lazily evaluated, so I kind of need like a late initialization of this state. But I'll need like something encapsulating all that data, and I'll need to pass that around. So let's go. I start on that. Well, we'll need a class, so might as well do that. File state. And I do not immutable, so we actually need a class. And the only initialization is the file name, which is an optional string. And from this, we're going to have file name, we're gonna have modified, we're gonna have a position, so we can move this down. We are going to construct a bunch of these at startup. I can probably optimize with slots. Or we'll leave it for now. It's probably not that big of a deal. Probably prematurely optimizing. We have file name, modified position, and we have lines. There's a list of stir. But I want this to be lazily evaluated. My music stopped. Because I forgot to loop the playlist. Classic me. Got to loop the playlist. I want lines to be lazily initialized. You hear about the Facebook employee committed suicide? No, I did not. I'm sure, well, given how large Facebook is, I'm sure there's a lot that fall into that category. Wow, that sounds fucking morbid. Damn. Wonder what happens, what does Nano do when you try and open a directory? Oh, I see. It just eats the error and turns it into an empty buffer. How do I make these lines lazily evaluated? It's like I'm pretty sure I didn't implement that. Oh, right. It's all fucked up because I haven't actually implemented this. Oh. Oh, what? Oh, new file. wrong. It should have, well, we'll make it work the same way as, actually, we can just make this self.lines and make, is this feature part of a minimally viable product? Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, well, no, that little feature, no, I don't care about that. But opening multiple files is part of the minimally viable product, because I use that all the time. I will need that. So this is what we'll need. This. Need the status. There. Yeah, I use it all the time. I use it on stream sometimes too. Especially when I'm doing refactors. The most common case is like, say I was dealing with this find executable function, and I wanted to refactor all calls to it. Well, yeah. So, well, those are all in one file. Oh, there's two files. Yeah, so let's say I wanted to refactor all calls to this function. I would do this to find all the file names, and then I would open them all with nano, and then cycle through them like that. And I do that all the time. So I really, really need this feature. I promise you. The header is really a wrapper around one of these file states. Oh, but it's also going to need to know the number of files that are available too. Not quite that. So maybe I can set that number. But loading the lines does need to access the status. Handle that. Load lines, self status. We're only going to load the lines if it. I guess we can just ensure lines loaded. Basically copying this code over here, transposing it. Oh, this is also state. The new line is state. Because we'll eventually save the file back and normalize the new lines. I haven't implemented save yet. File name is not none. Status that nano gives for that. Tests is a directory. Oh. But I would have to enumerate all of the different cases. Dev-null is not a normal file. What other weird things? Device objects? Not a normal file. Menu editor a socket. There's surely a socket here somewhere, right? Yeah, these are sockets, right? Socket. Not a normal file. I guess I could just say it's not a file. If you nano a dead symlink. What? That was not what I expected. It writes through the symlink. I don't know, whatever. I'm just gonna say is not a file. And then in that case, we set file name to none. As we set new file. Oh. Else do we have to copy paste? Where did the code go? Oh, we need margin apparently. This line is too long now. Six new lines will be converted to try and shorten the line. Oh, I can shorten it. Just clever. Hey, what's up, Peaky Dicers? How's it going? You haven't streamed in a while. I'm disappointed. I need to watch you eat food. What are you using NL for? Oh, this should be self.nl, and now the line's too long again. Dang it. So the plan with NL is I get all of the lines. And basically I strip off the line endings so that anywhere that I'm dealing with the rendering of the file lines, I don't have to like worry about the off by 1 or the off by 2 depending on the line ending. And then the plan was when I save the file out, I'll put the line endings back on, and then at the same time both normalize the file line endings but also not have to go with the intermediate state. So that's why I'm storing that separately. I haven't implemented saving yet, but I'm thinking ahead. Might be back next week. Nice. Nice. What's next week? Are you back in school? Or what's going on with that? So this should always update the lines. Oh, this is unindented. So I was gonna go over the line limit here anyway, whether or not I had that. Annoying. Just have a couple assignments this week, but should be freer next week. Nice. Get rid of this here. Now I gotta make the code use this. Okay, so that gets us our state object. This now takes file, which will get file. Should I call it file state? That's a stupid name. Just call it file. I wonder, does this fit on one line now? Oh, it does. Glorious. So good. Are type hints only for function parameters? They were originally only for function parameters, but now there's 3 types of hints now. There's when t and t2.py exist. There's parameters. I guess there's kind of 3. There's parameters, there's return values, and there's variable annotations. And by extension, you can have a class that has an attribute annotation as well. And then for Python 2, there's type comments, which annotate the same thing. So like type int returns int. Those are the current annotation types. Can you help me with an error with pip? I sent the error to Discord. I have Discord muted. Oh, the care map. Which package are you installing? It's probably that the package doesn't support Windows. Also, I can't see it because this is as large as the image is. It only gives me this. So it's like real small here. You're installing in Python 3 though, so it should be trying to use the setup.py is trying to wait, it's trying to write? Why is it trying to write? They're wrong. I expect it to read, not write. Tabulate slash setup.py. Oh, this is the tabulate package? Is it encode or decode? Unicode, encode error. Python tabulate. Oh, it's on Bitbucket. No! Bitbucket, why? What whack ass shit are they doing in their setup.py? Really, you're not gonna let me use the scroll bar? Now I gotta look through this tiny ass window. You gotta do me like this, Bitbucket. I'm on the mobile site. Oh, there we go. That's what I want. No, that's not any better. Rip links from the description on PyPI. Why do I don't see the .write call here at all. What version was it trying to install? 084. Maybe this is not. It doesn't have the 084 tag. Dump version to 084 for future release. This looks fine here. Was long description. Yeah, it's being mutated, but I don't see it being written back. Thing. Just reading it. But in this output here, we see f.write. In the module scope of setup.py. And I don't see that at all. I don't see a write call. Unless, like, the code they uploaded to PyPI is different. It's just fucking dumb. Yeah, download, no binary. All tabulate. I will make a directory called Y. Yeah, this is completely fucking different from the code that's on Bitbucket. If Python, what in the hell? This is completely different code than what's on. Maybe they handed it off. Maybe that GitHub one is actually the canonical source. No, that's old too. This is very confusing to me. Anyway, here's your bug report. Found the bug. Oh, fuck off, bot. What'd you get mad about? Oh, because Windows is lowercase. But apparently, according to this guy, you can install 083 and maybe that'll work. Logged in. Well, of course, it doesn't take me to the page I was on. Why would it do that? The weird thing is the code on PyPI doesn't match the source code on Bitbucket. I'm very confused / concerned something nefarious is going on. Anyway, not a package I'm using, hopefully. Not my problem. But anyway, good luck using that package, I guess. Get back to what I was doing. So we have file state here. We don't have a position here. Gotta do these in a different order. Let's go ensure loaded. And that takes status and margin. Status. Margin. Get rid of this. Although this really should just be taking a file now. Oh, this is some of the code I wrote while I was drunk. I was like, why do I have a getter and setter? They don't do anything. Didn't fix them. Oh no, they're circular. Oh, maybe they're not circular. Maybe I can just do this. Gotta go to bed now. I got class nice and early tomorrow. Good night. Thanks for stopping by, friend. Hope to see you around. I know I see you around on Twitter quite a lot. Some good quality memes you're retweeting there. Has to be a reference. It's annoying. Yes, thank you. Yeah. these like backspace or this like adjustment after backspace should really be a method on the position. Not yet. Oh, this is gonna get old. That one. And that one. Oh no, that line's too long now. Oops. That line's too long now too. Annoying. I'll probably make this, like I think this might make sense as a method on file now, along with all these other file editing stuff. Because they're really just modifying position and lines. This is really just a function of position. And that'll help me unindent this later. But no flaky failures now, so maybe it runs? No way. File has no attribute file name. Really? 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 Type object file. Oh. Okay. Wow, it worked. And if I go to the It works! Yay! They keep their state separate. That's kind of cool. I don't have tests for it. And the patch probably looks awful. We just said, wow, it worked at the same time on different projects. Nice. It's like we held hands through the computer screen. Okay, I think that's a good place to leave it off, though. It's been almost 3.5 hours, and this mostly works. It was actually easier than I thought it was going to be. Editing multiple files. Although then again, I've been kind of like brainstorming my approach to how this is going to work for quite a while, so that part doesn't really surprise me that much that it was easy there. Actually, let me fix my pie first. That seems kind of important. 314 unsupported left off ramp for plus and none. Do a few arguments for update of status. Right. So, this is broken right now. Little jank, but I think that works now. Okay. Oh, but I didn't do the like file numbering stuff. I'll do that some other time. Anyway, so that's enough for today. Let me do my little spiel, I guess. If you liked what you watched, follow and ding the no, fuck that. If you missed any part of the stream, you can catch the upload that'll usually go up by tomorrow on YouTube, and that's youtube.com/AnthonyWritesCode. I uploaded all previous streams. It looks like YouTube changed their what's it called? Their thumbnailing algorithm, because this is a very different color than the thumbnails that I upload. That weird, because like it's supposed to be this purple, but this is very much not that purple. So they're washing out the colors for some reason, but whatever. Anyway, upload streams to youtube.com/AnthonyWritesCode. And I usually stream on Saturdays at 1 p.m. or sorry, 11 a.m. Pacific. I've changed my time, but I announce my streams in several places, so you can check those out. The first of those is Twitter. That's twitter.com/codewithanthony. I usually announce a stream similar to this here, where I'll be like about an hour. Why no Python in the videos? Yeah, I should add that to to the thumbnail there. That'd be a good one. But yeah, I usually announce the streams here. I also announce the streams on Discord, which if you want to hang out on our Discord, we talk about programming and stuff and memes, and I don't know, it's kind of fun. But the Discord is in the description. But you know, we hang out in there, and it's fun and stuff. There's a bunch of people, and I talk shit, and you know, it happens. There's also a Google Calendar. It's linked below. That's another way to get notified about streams. But I think that's it. Thank you all for stopping by.